Hello students, welcome to FS Cloud. My name is Shashmita. We have an app by the name Careers Cloud which you can go and download through the Play Store. Once you have downloaded the application, you will easily be able to log in using your Gmail ID. And once you have logged in, you will be redirected to this page where you will be getting this URL. And there will be option for home, all courses, my courses and doubt section in this application. You will be getting multiple PDFs, multiple content on daily basis that will be enhancing your learning. Under Crack Current Affairs, you will be able to see multiple options. First one is Current Affairs English. We upload the day-to-day basis news in the English format. And apart from English PDF, we also provide them in Hindi format. And this banking awareness, we upload a PDF every month. So this PDF will contain the banking news, banking and the finance news of that respective month. And Current Affairs Exam PDF will have two categories. One is that most important news of that particular month will be uploaded in this Current Affairs Exam PDF. And also Exam Perspective PDF will also be uploaded. And next is Special CA. This will contain Union Budget, Economic Survey, and also the most important events that had taken place globally as well as nationally. And next most important is topic wise. So the entire news of that particular month will be segregated into different topics. And in order to recollect whatever you've read, we also provide you with topic wise quizzes. Apart from that, we also provide state current affairs. Now, here if you see, we provide you with the day-to-day PDF, and this we provide you with the weekly PDF. So that particular week news will be compiled into a PDF and in question and answer format in English and will be uploaded here. And to enhance your learning, you can also, to enhance and strengthen your learning, you can also attend the quiz. Here we provide you with the entire news of that particular week. But here we take the top 60 most important news and we upload it in this PDF in question and answer format. Apart from weekly, we also provide you the monthly ones. This PDF will contain detailed view of that particular month news, and this will have a brief format of the same news. This will be in the form of a question and answer format, and this will have the top 100 question and answer of that particular month. We also provide you with the PIB news on a day-to-day basis, which you can go and read in these particular tabs. Apart from that, we also provide the Union Budget and Economic Survey. You can also attend you can read after reading the PDF. You can also go and attend the quiz. This is available under Special CA category. We also provide state level current affairs. So this will be very helpful for students who are preparing for state level exams. For example, if you are preparing for Tamil Nadu state level exams, then you can click this tab and you will be able to see all the current affairs or news related to Tamil Nadu. Apart from that, we also provide PDF from the exam perspective. Suppose you are preparing for RBI Assistant Mains, then this tab will contain 5 to 6 months of current affairs, which has high probability of being asked in RBI Assistant Mains. Similarly, for SBI PO, RRB PO, Clerk Mains, all these are being given under this section. And also, we provide separate content-wise, topic-wise current affairs like national affairs, government schemes, international affairs, banking and finance, economy and businesses, MOUs, and committees and meetings. All these different types of news are segregated in these particular categories. Hello students, welcome to our new initiative. In this initiative, we will be uploading the weekly current affairs on banking and finance section. So this will be uploaded on every Monday. And so on the whole, per month, you will have totally 4 videos related to this topic. And apart from just providing you with the banking and finance news, we also provide you the conceptual explanation so that this will enhance and also strengthen your knowledge about these topics. Today, we will be covering the April 4th week banking and finance awareness. Moving to the first news, RBI raises the minimum capital requirement for asset reconstruction company to 300 crores. Now, what is this asset reconstruction company? It is nothing but the main business of this asset reconstruction company is to buy bad loans from the banks. So when there are too many NPAs or when the NPA is difficult to retrieve, so in that case, the banks, they sell their NPAs to the asset reconstruction companies so that they can concentrate on their credit business. So asset reconstruction companies initially pays 15% upfront of the decided amount. Suppose the NPA is of 10 crores. Then a bank does not sell this entire loan for 10 crores because there is uncertainty whether this can be recovered or not. So this is sold at a discounted rate, say around 6 crores. So 15% of this 6 crores is paid in upfront by the ARC, and remaining 85% is paid after the ARC retrieves money from the borrower. So this is the purpose and this is the function of an asset reconstruction company. Now RBI has raised the minimum capital requirement for them from rupees 100 crores to 300 crores. Now the provision of these directions applied to every ARC is registered with RBI under the Section 3 of the SARFAESI Act. So SARFAESI full form is Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act. By March 31st, 2024, they must maintain a minimum net own fund of 200 crores and rupees 300 crores by March 31st, 2026. If not, they will not be allowed to provide any further business until and unless they maintain the prescribed limit. Now, as per the provision of Section 10(2) of SARFAESI Act, ARC with a minimum net own fund of 1000 crore, they will be eligible to act as a resolution applicant under the IBC code. Now, what is this RP, resolution applicant, and what is this IBC? Now, a company has borrowed some money, some debt from the bank. Now, it is unable to repay it. It has declared itself as bankrupt. Then, it can go and file it as itself as an insolvent in the IBC. So, the company can do it, or if the bank is unable to get the money from the company is not able to repay the debt, then the bank which has provided the loan can go and file the insolvent. Now, this RP comes into picture now. This resolution applicant, they provide a resolution to the debtors. They will tell like you can follow this plan 1. We can collect the money, we can retrieve the money, and we can give it to the debtors. Plan 1 can be that selling all its assets and giving money to the debtor. Or plan 2 can be if the business is good, business idea is good, but if the company is not able to run it, then they can run the business, and from that profit they can pay the to the debtors. So these are the plans that can be designed by the resolution applicant. So this is the work of the resolution applicant, RA. Sorry, it's not RP, it's RA. Now, this resolution applicant, the minimum net own fund should be 1000 crores. A resolution applicant refers to any individual or entity willing to submit a plan to address a company's financial issues during the insolvency proceedings. Now the ARCs can invest in short-term instruments like money market mutual fund, certificate of deposits. This CD is issued by banks. And this corporate bonds are issued by corporate companies. But to invest in corporate bonds, the minimum credit rating should be AA. And the maximum they can invest is 10% of the net own fund. Now, each and every ARC, they have to maintain a capital adequacy ratio of 15%. You know that banks have to maintain a capital adequacy ratio of 9% as prescribed by the RBI. Similarly, ARC should also maintain a CRAR of at least 15%. Now, as soon as it has received the certificate of registration from the RBI, it must start its operation within 6 months. Maximum, it can extend up to 12 months after getting the approval from the RBI. And within 19 days of the receiving of the COR, that is certificate of registration, the ARC must develop a board approved financial asset acquisition policy. So they have to frame this policy within 90 days of receiving this certificate of registration. And ARC requires the RBI approval for the appointment or reappointment of MD or the CEOs. Moving to the next news, RBI Deputy Governor T. Ravi Shankar, he has been extended, his term has been extended for 1 more year, and it is being done by the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. The other 3 Deputy Governors are M.D. Patra, M. Rajeshwar Rao, and Swaminathan Janakiram. RBI imposes 10 lakh penalty on NABFINS. NABFINS is a subsidiary of NABARD, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It is located in Bangalore, and it has, why has it imposed this 10 lakhs fine? RBI has conducted a statutory inspection of the company's financial position as on March 31st, 2022. During this inspection, it has found that the company has forced the customers to use a specific insurance company for assets financed. So, due to this reason, monetary penalty has been imposed by the RBI on this NABFINS. The next news is RBI restricts Kotak Mahindra Bank from adding new customers online and issuing new credit cards. Now, So now Kotak Mahindra Bank, they cannot onboard new customers through in its online channel, and it can also not issue new credit cards. Now RBI has its powers to make this imposition under the section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act 1949. So why has this happened? It is because in 2022 and 23, RBI has conducted an information technology examination. And during this examination, it has found serious deficiency and non-compliance. So it has found deficiencies in IT inventory management, data security, business continuity, disaster recovery. So all these deficiencies have been found in this examination. Apart from that, there was a lot of frequent outages in the core banking system. This core banking system is the internal software that is present in the banks. So in that also there was outage, and also in the digital channels that is used by the customers, in that also they have found frequent outages. And this frequent outages has resulted in a disruption on April 15, 2024. So to safeguard the customer interest and to prevent them from having a bad experience and a bad customer service, RBI had to take this action on the Kotak Mahindra Bank. What are the various other actions that's taken by the RBI recently? So recently, the Paytm Payment Bank was asked to wind up its Paytm payment business due to continuous non-regulatory complaints. And also next one is IIFL Finance. It was also told to not provide any new gold loans. It is because of the breach of LTV, a lot of cash involvement more than the statutory limit, and also there was a question in ascertaining of the purity of the gold. So these were the many reasons for IIFL Finance to stop providing any new gold loans. JM Financial, it was also asked to stop providing any loan against the shares or the bonds. And Bank of Baroda, it was told not to onboard customers on the Mob World app. Similarly, in 2020 December, HDFC was also barred from providing new credit cards to the customers. So these were the certain actions or imposition by the RBI. The next news is Revolt India gets in principle note for PPI license from the Reserve Bank of India. Now, Revolt India is a new bank which is backed by the Tiger Global and the SoftBank. It has received an in principle approval from the Reserve Bank of India to issue PPI, that is prepaid instruments. Now, what is this neobank? Neobank are new aged bank. They don't have any physical branches. They exist, they provide services only online. So they are digital only banking platforms that operate solely online without any physical branches. Now, Revolt also plans to introduce digital first money management services. So it will allow the users to manage their finances, the payment, remittance, both locally as well as internationally. So what are PPI? PPI are prepaid instruments or payment tools that utilize stored monetary value for transactions. So you know what are debit cards, right? So debit cards, they are linked to our bank account. So you can spend as much as it is in the bank account. Suppose there is 5,000 rupees in the bank account, then you can spend as much as 5,000. Similarly, PPI, you load the money well in hand. So if you load some around 2,000 rupees in PPI, then you can use only up to 2,000. So this is a feature of PPI. There are three types of PPI. One is open, closed and semi-closed. If you see, there was a recent news about PPI that's released by the RBI. On 5th April 2024, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das proposed linking PPI through third-party UPI. Now, how do we actually use this PPI? So it can be in online e-voucher form or a physical card form. So if you want to use this, you go to that merchant place wherever you have purchased the item. You tell them, you give this card, they swipe it in their POS, and that is how this PPI is being used. Now what the governor has suggested that now many of us have this UPI. Suppose say you have a Google Pay option in your phone. Now you have the option that you can link your credit cards to this UPI. Similarly, there should be an option that where this PPI can be linked to the UPI. So maybe a PPI will have some number. So you can feed this number in the UPI and you can use this PPI via the UPI. So you don't have to carry this instrument wherever you go. This is an easy and interoperable system. So a little bit about Revolt India. This is a London-based company, the largest neobank in Europe, and it has entered the Indian market only in 2021. The CEO of this bank is Paroma Chatterjee and is headquartered in Mumbai. S&P Global, it has released the list where the 3 Indian banks among the top 50 lenders in Asia Pacific by assets. So the 3 Indian banks that are there in the top 50 based on the asset size is that State Bank of India, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So the cumulative asset of these 3 banks, it has raised about 50% on a year-on-year basis. And the first position, it is held by China's Industrial and Commercial Bank of China Limited. Now, so SBI occupies the 20th rank position and it has improved its ranking from 21 to 20. The asset value is now 780 billion. HDFC is in the 33rd position. It has jumped from 46 to the 33rd. It's a very huge jump and now the valuation stands at 464 billion. Similarly, ICICI ranks 48 and it is the second largest private sector bank in India and it is the first time now it is appearing in the top 50 Asia Pacific lender list in 2023. The top 4 ranks are occupied by the China-based banks. The first one is Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, next is Agriculture Bank, next is China Construction Bank and the last one is Bank of China Limited. Now, the total assets of the top 4 performing banks of China, it has increased by 10.2% currently to $21.91 trillion. And the combined assets of Japanese banks, but they have decreased by 2.5% and now it currently stands at $10.5 trillion. And similarly for South Korean banks also it has decreased by 0.9% and it now stands at 2.66 trillion. And in case of the combined assets of 3 Singaporean banks, it has increased by 3.7% to 1.40 trillion. We have launched a new course called Static Banking Awareness course. Now this course will be helpful for students who are preparing for the banking exams and for the regulatory body exams. And also recently you would have seen Paytm Bank in news frequently. So when an aspirant reads this news, he would have ample number of questions like what is a payment bank, what are the norms for it and which is the committee that has launched it. So this Static Banking Awareness course lays a foundation to the current banking and finance news. Now, you have to download our Careers Cloud to access this course. Once you have logged into our app, you can go and click this All Courses icon and then you'll be redirected to this page. In this, you have to go and click the Static Banking Awareness course and under the Details tab, you will be able to see a brief about this course. And under the Part tab, it will contain all the contents, all the topics of the contents that are currently available in this course. We are working on this continuously and this will be completed within 2 months. Under the Free tab, you can go and access one content, that is the origin and development content, for free. You can go and read this content and have an idea about this course. After reading this content, do attend the quiz that is also available under the same tab. Now, our team has allocated ample amount of time and resources to curate this content. We have created this content from various books and from various verified websites. Our content is better than any book that is available in the market. This is because we update this content on a dynamic basis. For example, there are currently 39 DRTs that are available in the country now. In future, if one more DRT is created or added, then it would become 40. So we would update this content on a dynamic basis. But in case of books, you have to wait for the next publication for this updated content. Nowadays, a lot of practical questions have been asked in the banking exams. For example, how many public sector banks are available on the stock exchange? Which is the payment bank that is being listed on the stock exchange? So, we try to cover as many practical questions as possible in this course. Apart from this, we also provide you a question bank that will contain around 3000 questions and the previous year questions along with it. We also have a dedicated tab that will release the important RBI notification and the frequent news released by the RBI. You can use this code B15 to avail 15% discount. This is one of the highest discounts that we have offered until now. So do avail this code B15 while you purchase the course. The MD and CEO of Axis Bank has been recently reappointed. And so the Amitabh Singh Chaudhary has been appointed as the MD and CEO of Axis Bank for the second term. Previously, he worked as the MD and CEO of HDFC Standard Life Insurance and of Infosys BPO. Apart from this, there are also two reappointment of independent directors. They are Meena Ganesh and Gopal Raman Padmanabhan. Moving to the next news, another banking news, another MD and CEO appointment has taken place. So RBI has approved the MD and CEO of Dhanlaxmi Bank. So his name is Ajit Kumar K. He has replaced J.K. Shivan. So J.K. Shivan is currently serving as the MD and CEO of Dhanlaxmi Bank, and Ajit Kumar K has recently replaced the J.K. Shivan. So a little bit about Ajit Kumar K. So he has 36 years of experience with Federal Bank Limited, and he's currently the additional director of one of the subsidiaries of the Federal Bank, and also he is the non-executive director of the Federal Operations and Services Limited. So NABARD has released a climate strategy 2030. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, whose chairman is Shaji KV, he has released this document on the World Earth Day, that is, we celebrated on 22nd April. So it has mentioned in the document that we have to achieve around 2.5 trillion for in terms of green finance by 2030, which means annually we have to achieve 170 billion. We, in the sense, India has to achieve 170 billion in order to reach the 2.5 trillion target by 2030. But currently, as on 2019-20, we have achieved or received only 49 billion in green financing, which is just a very little amount, a very small fraction when compared to the actual amount required. So mainly because there is limited participation from the private sector because the commercial viability is not there in this green financing. So due to bankability, getting loans in green financing is also quite difficult, and also the commercial viability of the projects in green finance is also quite difficult. So private sector engagement in this part is quite low. So this climate strategy document, it has 4 key pillars. They are, have to accelerate, that is increase the green lending across sectors. So we have to give more loans to the renewable energy, green infrastructure kind of sectors, and you have to play a broader market making role. So if you see few companies will be interested in green infrastructure projects, but they may not have the finance, and few companies, they may have the finance but they don't have the equipment or the technology. So you have to match them somehow. So you have to play a broader market making role, and internal green transformation of NABARD, and strategic resource mobilization. So utilize the resources that are available in a very nice manner. So you have to prepare the proper strategy for that. So these are the 4 key pillars of this climate strategy that is released by the NABARD on 22nd April, which is the World Earth Day. So you have two main, apart from this news, you can take 2 main key points from here, two other news from here, that is, we celebrate World Earth Day on 22nd April, and the chairman of NABARD is Shaji KV. AU Small Finance Bank has launched certain financial products and also the first ATM insurance. Let us see them one by one. So 2 new credit cards have been launched by AU Small Finance Bank. The first one is the AU Spont RuPay credit card, which is launched in collaboration with NPCI. So seamless integration with UPI. Say suppose you have Google Pay. Every time you want to make a payment via credit card, you can use it only if you have the physical credit card. But if you can integrate with this UPI, then you don't have to need the credit card. You can just pay it via this Google Pay. So this credit card provides the seamless integration with the UPI. The next one is NOMO credit card, that is no missing out credit card. So suppose a customer comes to a branch. He says he wants a credit card, but he does not have the enough credit history or limited credit history, and he does not have even income proof. Say suppose he is getting his salary by cash, then he will not have any income proof. So for such customers, this NOMO credit card has been launched. So this has been launched in collaboration with Visa. So these AU Small Finance First Secure Credit Card, it is backed by an FD. Now, what is this ATM insurance? Suppose if you want to buy any insurance, you can go and visit the bank or the insurance company, or you can buy it via online mode. But this AU Small Finance Bank has introduced a new thing. You can go and purchase insurance through the ATM using your debit card. This is the first innovation. So the insurance on ATM is the industry's first innovation, and so AU Small Finance Bank has applied for the patent rights. Apart from that, it has also established or launched AU 0101 business app and AU 0101 version 2.0, especially for the merchants and the business people. This provides a comprehensive banking solution. So it has all in one, that is management of account, deposits, loans and credit cards. It also has features like QR onboarding and payment settlement. Initially, AU Small Finance Bank was established as an NBFC. Later on, in 2017, it became a small finance bank. The MD and CEO is Sanjay Agarwal and it is headquartered in Jaipur. Moving to the next news. Razorpay has launched UPI Switch in partnership with Airtel Payment Bank. Razorpay, we know that it is an online instant payment. It has also received recently a payment aggregator approval from the RBI. So, this has launched its own UPI interface infrastructure called UPI Switch in partnership with the Airtel Payment Bank. Now, what is this UPI Switch? It is a better version of the UPI because it processes the UPI transaction at scale, at a very high scale. It enables UPI innovation for millions of business. This is also focused for the business people. So, this is designed to handle 10,000 transactions per second. And UPI Switch, it aims to boost success rate. You know, when you perform a UPI transaction, you will have some failures. Sometimes the amount will be debited, but it will not be credited to the to the merchant. So all this success rates, all this failure has been reduced and ensures that the success rates has increased by 4 to 5%. Even in case of failure, if generally the refunds will take up to 3 days. But here they have reduced it and they have made it instantly. So process refunds instantly compared to the conventional industry standard up to 3 days. And also if any disputes are there, generally it takes 1 week, that is 7 days. But here they have reduced it to 7 times faster. That is within 24 hours they plan to resolve the disputes. So this is the feature of this UPI Switch that has been launched by the Razorpay. Now, who is the CEO and co-founder of Razorpay? It is Harishal Mathur and the MD and co-founder is Shashank Kumar. It is headquartered in Bangalore and it was founded in 2014. In case of Airtel Payment Bank, the CEO and MD is Anubrata Biswas and the headquarters is in Gurugram and it was established in 2017. Moving to the next news. Indian Bank partners with Tata Power Solar to boost solar energy adoption. We know that nowadays various sectors, the private sector, the banking sector and also the government are focusing on the green infrastructure, renewable infrastructure. We also saw that in the first half of the financial year, government has planned to raise 12,000 crore via sovereign green bonds. Now, Indian Bank has announced its partnership with Tata Power Solar Systems to promote solar energy adoption. So it has decided these two has partnered to provide the financial support to the residential customers who plans to install the solar powers. So how will this support be given? They will provide the financial support under the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana for installation of solar rooftop up to 3 kilowatt. This Yojana was introduced in Feb 2024 by our Prime Minister. The financial outlay is around 75,000 crores. And the government plans to install around 1 crore solar rooftop on the residential households. Now, so up to 3 kilowatts, the residential consumers, they will be given loan up to 2 lakhs at the interest rate 7%. And the margin requirement is 10%. Say suppose for the installation of the solar rooftop, about around 1 lakh is required for the consumer. Now, in that 1 lakh, he has to provide his margin of 10%. That is, 10,000 has to be provided by him and the remaining 90,000 will be provided as loan by the bank. And the repayment tenure is 10 years. This is for this is for rooftop solar panels which are up to the 3 kilowatt power. And for above 3 kilowatt up to 10 kilowatt, the eligible applicants can avail up to 6 lakh loan with a margin requirement of 20%. and the interest ranges from 8.4% to 10.8%. Indian Bank Managing Director is Shanti Lal. Moving to the next news, Airtel Payment Bank unveils NCMC debit and prepaid credit card in collaboration with NPCI. Now, Airtel Payment Bank along with NPCI has launched an eco-friendly NCMC debit and prepaid card, that is National Common Mobility Card. This has been introduced by the Airtel Payment Bank and NPCI. This is powered by RuPay. You know, there are 5 card networks in India. They are RuPay, American Express, Visa, Diners Club. So these are the 5 card networks present in India currently. So this card is crafted from the sustainable EPVS material. So environmentally sustainable EPVS material is being used to create this, to manufacture this card. This is in line with the Airtel Payment Bank commitment, India's one nation, one card vision. Now this card can be utilized in various areas, like they can be utilized at merchant location in a form of contactless. So near field communication will be used for this payment at merchant location, as well as NCMC can be used at metros, buses and parking facilities. And MasterCard. So these are the 5 card networks available in India currently. 10 MDBs have launched a new platform for co-financing. Now, there was a meeting conducted in the Washington DC by the IMF and the World Bank on 20th April 2024. And during this day, 10 multilateral development banks, they have jointly launched a platform called Global Collaborative Co-Financing Platform. Now, this platform, it has 2 components. They are Co-Financing Portal and Co-Financing Forum. Now, what is this portal for? It is a platform where the financiers, they can share their project pipeline. So you see, if these MDBs, they provide loans to the various sectors and companies for a longer time period, say about 20 or 15 years, for an attractive interest rate. So various other projects, for renewable projects or for any other projects. So they can discuss the project pipeline, in the sense how much of the project is completed. All these can be shared in this platform. And this portal will be hosted at the World Bank. The second component is Co-Financing Forum. In this forum, they can discuss the co-financing opportunities. So what are the various opportunities available to provide loan for, and also the best practices and the issues relating to the loan and the sectors. All these can be discussed in the co-financing forum. So these are the 10 MDBs that have launched this forum. So what are the MDBs actually planning? So they want to scale up the MDB financing capacity. They want to provide an additional lending of 300 to 400 billion for the next 10 years. And they also want to provide a joint action on climate change. See, if you are now adapting, so now in case a country is using fossil fuel for its energy generation, and now it is adapting renewable energy. So you should be able to measure the climate results. Since you have moved from here to here, you have to be able to measure the results, and this result should be common. The approach to this measurement should be common. Suppose I am measuring in this method, and if the other country is measuring it in another method, it's difficult to comprehend and compare, right? So there should be a common approach to measure the results. And also you have to enhance the early warning system for natural disasters. Next is fostering country level collaboration and co-financing. The other is catalyzing private sector mobilization. Just catalyzing the public sector or the government is not important. The private sector should also contribute a lot, and these investments should also be catalyzed in such a way that they are used efficiently. And also the last one is improving development effectiveness and impact. Moving to the next news, IndusInd Bank becomes the first bank to successfully execute RBI's programmable CBDC. Now, what is this CBDC? This is nothing but a digital currency issued by the RBI. There are 2 types. One is wholesale and another one is retail. So this pilot mode were launched in the pilot mode of these two CBDC were practiced in 2022. Now, what is this programmable CBDC? See, this programmable CBDC is issued for a particular purpose. Suppose government wants to issue scholarship for the weaker section students who are not able to pay money. So it wants to issue some 50,000 scholarship. In that case, it can issue a programmable CBDC, which means they can use this CBDC, they can use this money only for scholarship purpose and not for any other purpose. So this is the purpose of programmable CBDC, where you can monitor the end user funds. So IndusInd Bank Limited, it has become the first bank to successfully execute the RBI's programmable CBDC. This is to compensate farmers for carbon credits. Now, what is this carbon credit? See, this is nothing but farmers, they do a lot of activities in order to reduce the carbon. So they do farming activities. This itself reduces the carbon dioxide in the air. So for this purpose, they will be issued, or they can buy they will have carbon credits. Now these farmers, they can sell this carbon credits in the stock exchange and earn money. This is a source of revenue for them. Now, this pilot project is executed in collaboration with Circularity Innovation Hub India Private Limited, CIH. It is an alternative form of CBDC wherein the bank can program the end user funds. So, mainly programmable CBDC is to monitor the end user funds. It is being dispersed to farmers in lieu of generation of carbon credits. So, in the pilot form, the IndusInd Bank initiated the programmable CBDC to 50 farmers in the Maharashtra, and it plans to cover 1,000 more farmers. Now, so who are the parties involved in this? One is CIH, that is, it is a sponsor agency for this project to promote the circular economy. And another is IndusInd Bank. So for digital wallet, for CBDC, you need to have a digital wallet that will be issued by the bank. Inside this, the CBDC will be stored, and using this, you can buy whatever products you want. So for digital wallets and managing CBDC transfer, IndusInd Bank is required, and Hindustan Agro and Jackfruit King Company, it does the farmer engagement work, linking sustainable practices to the additional revenue streams. All this is done by this company. The other last one is Emertech Innovations. They develop a blockchain-backed platform for traceability and transparency. So where this money is dispersed, how it is being used, for this purpose a blockchain platform is required, and this is developed by this Emertech Innovation. Now, phase 2 of this project will target the Safai Karamchari. These are the people who are engaged in sanitation work. So this will create, why is Safai Karamchari is involved? Because to create a revenue model for them. So increase the income through plastic waste recycling. So this will be the phase 2. Thank you for watching the session. I hope you had enjoyed it. We're also available in Telegram under the name AffairsCloud_official. We also have an Instagram handle. Apart from this, you can contact us directly on 9677333862 regarding any courses that we offer, or regarding any payment issues. You can contact directly on this number. Thank you.